From the outback to the big stage, he's worn more jerseys than most blokes dream of. But his next move, no one saw it coming. G'day and welcome back to the OldSkool Broncos Podcast. The fan's eye view of the club we love. No fluff, no clickbait, just the real stories that matter. Today we're talking about a headline that might have flown under the radar. Scott Prince extending his deal as head coach of the Broncos NRLW for another 2 seasons. It's big news on its own, but when you look at who Scott Prince is, the journey he's taken, and what's happening in the women's game right now, it's huge. Scott Prince's story starts a long way from Red Hill, way up in Mount Isa, out in northwest Queensland. Footy mad country, where if you've got a steed in your hands, you've got a dream. Prince's talent was obvious early. Quick feet, sharp mind, that classic halfback swagger. He was picked up by the Cowboys in the late 90s and made his NRL debut as a teenager. But back then, the Cowboys were a struggling side and Prince was still learning the ropes. In 2001, he got the call up to go to the Broncos, and it was a big one. He was brought in to fill the shoes of none other than the duo of Alan Langer and Kevin Walters. Both had just retired. That's not just stepping into a big role, that's stepping into iconic territory. But then came the setbacks, and horrible ones. 2 broken legs in the space of a couple of years, both while trying to cement himself as the Broncos' new number 7. It was cruel. Every time he got some momentum, injury just took it away. By the end of 2003, thinking his path back into the Broncos' topside was blocked, Prince made the tough call to leave. He signed with the West Tigers, and in one of rugby league's little quirks of fate, not long after he left, Ben Ikin announced his retirement. The very spot Prince had been chasing was suddenly open again. But he was already gone. If there's a silver lining, it's that the move changed his life forever. At the Tigers, Prince flourished. He became captain, found his best form, and in 2005, led them to their first ever premiership. He was the Clive Churchill medalist in the grand final, proof that he wasn't just good enough for the big stage, he owned it. After that, he became the foundation halfback and co-captain of the Gold Coast Titans in 2007. He was the face of that franchise from day one, steering them to a preliminary final in 2010. Then, in 2013, he came full circle back to the Broncos to finish his playing career in the maroon and gold. The club his family had held close to their hearts. Prince even buried his father in a Broncos polo shirt. But retirement didn't mean disappearing. Prince stayed connected to the club, taking on development roles, working with young players, and throwing himself into the community programs. He was often the Broncos' face in schools, junior clinics, and grassroots events, building relationships and growing the game. That's where you started to see the seeds of his coaching path. He wasn't just running drills, he was teaching, guiding, and connecting. Fast forward to mid-2023, and Prince takes over as Broncos NRLW head coach. And here's the thing. Plenty of former NRL players aim for the men's coaching pathway, juniors, feeder clubs, NRL assistants. Prince chose differently. He committed to the women's program, and he stayed there. That decision speaks volumes. The NRLW isn't an afterthought anymore. It's a serious, growing competition full of elite athletes, and Prince has treated it exactly that way. His impact has been immediate, from structure, smart game plans, and higher standards. One of the biggest moments under his watch, bringing Tamika Upton back to the Broncos. Upton's a game changer. A former premiership winner with the Broncos and Newcastle, Clive Churchill medalist, and one of the most electric fullbacks in the sport. She'd gone to the Knights, won more titles, and returned to Brisbane at the peak of her powers. But Prince didn't just sign her, he elevated her straight into the co-captaincy alongside the great Ali Brigginshaw. Now this is smart coaching. Brigginshaw's a legend, the face of the Broncos NRLW since day one, an on-field general and a leader you'd follow into battle. But she's closer to the end of her career than the start. Prince is managing the transition perfectly, overlapping the eras so that when Brigginshaw eventually hangs up the boots, the leadership baton is already in safe hands. Upton gets to learn leadership with one of the best in the business beside her, and the team gets stability through the change. So why does this matter? This is bigger than the Broncos. The women's game is booming. More teams, bigger crowds, better TV coverage, and kids dreaming of wearing an NRLW jersey. Having someone like Prince, with his experience, his calm head, and his proven record, committing long-term is a huge vote of confidence in the competition's future. It tells the players, the fans, and the young girls in the stands that it isn't a side project. This is the real deal. So when you look at Scott Prince's journey, from Mount Isa to the Cowboys, to a cruel run of injuries at the Broncos, to premiership glory at the Tigers, to building the Titans, and finally coming home, this coaching role makes perfect sense. He's always been a builder, a leader, and a competitor. Now he's pouring all of that into the Broncos NRLW. With Prince locked in until 27, Tamika Upton and Ali Brigginshaw sharing the captaincy, and a generation of players coming through, the future is bright in maroon and gold. That's all for today. But if you're not already following the NRLW, you're missing out on some of the best rugby league going around. Like, subscribe, and share this with a mate. This is the Old School Broncos Podcast. Let's go, Broncos.